Another money-saving secret from Arm & Hammer.
My name is Milena. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I love Arm & Hammer's Sensitive Skin Plus Scent laundry detergent. It cleans really well. It doesn't irritate my skin, and it smells wonderful.
Arm & Hammer's Sensitive Skin Plus Scent has a skin-friendly scent people love, so it's preferred 2-to-1 over the leading free and clear detergent, and it costs up to 30% less.
We've been on a very tight budget lately, so it's a no-brainer.
The clean you need at a fraction of the cost.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New Jersey After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New Jersey After Show.
Our two worlds apart can't reach to your heart. You say I want it that way. Ain't nothing. Okay, so that was some lovely singing from Susan and myself. Hey guys, if you're tuning in, this is the after show for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And in the studio today, it is myself, Diona Vaughan, and
Susan Hahn. Hey guys.
And you can find us on Twitter. You can find me at GoToGirlTV. At GoToGirlTV, yeah, on Twitter. And Susan, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and soundtracking at It's Susan Hahn.
And before we dig into another juicy episode from the Garden State, we just want to remind you guys to make sure you download our show on iTunes. It's completely free. And make comments. We actually really reread all the comments, both on YouTube and on iTunes, and we really care about what you have to say. I think at the end we're going to address a few comments today, actually. But and rate us a 5. Don't forget, rate 555. We need to get ourselves back in the top 10.
We are, babe.
Oh, I didn't check the board.
Oh,
okay.
You know what?
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
We've been in the top 10 for the past 2 weeks. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so make sure you download us free on iTunes and keep the comments coming and the ratings coming. All right, so let's dig in, okay?
Dig in.
Now, this was a really good episode.
It was. There was a lot going on.
A whole lot. And I think it's interesting that they started off this episode with the Loritas, and we all know, Jacqueline and her husband, they're dealing with Nicholas and, his autism and, trying to spread the word. So I thought it was interesting how we started out there, because he's doing this new, what was it called? Like a hyperbaric chamber.
Yes.
Yeah. Therapy, which seems to be helping him. But I think it really put things in perspective when you saw that moment at the very beginning, with her son and, getting this treatment and what they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. It starts to put everything else into perspective, So I thought that was interesting. What did you think about that? Or them sharing this part of Nicholas's treatment?
On this episode?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just, I feel like we started with that and we ended with this fight. So it just, I don't know.
Didn't it start with Melissa and Joey talking about the party that happened last night? Did I completely skip over?
You did.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Okay, well then, I think that was great. Just to be honest.
Moving on. You must have been Twittering.
I was.
Fans.
I'm Twittering right now.
Okay, all right. Well, you're excused for that.
Thank you. Well, actually, I'm not, so I apologize for that. You're right.
But, well, just to catch you up.
Okay, but you know what? Let's go back to Jacqueline and the whole, her son Nicholas and, doing whatever they can for, the love of their son. Mm-hmm. You're saying that it puts things into perspective. Well, not that long, because Jacqueline is talking shit
I know.
mid episode, and it's kind of like, okay, I thought you were kind of like falling back a little bit from Teresa and all the drama, but she just can't wait. I mean, the trainer was like, shut the F up, can I work you out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to say that it put things in perspective, I mean,
I get what you're saying. I guess there's a part of me that feels like, to your point, if she says she's going to fall back from the drama, focus on her son, she's got, bigger fish to fry. I get that. But then if you're going to, fall back into it, then maybe we shouldn't see that much of your life with your son. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather not go that deep in your family and see that if this is what we're going to get down the line. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I agree, because I feel like any chance that Jacqueline gets, she wants to talk smack about Teresa. And and it's like, I know that Kelly Black agrees with me. This is what actually we were going back and forth when I wasn't paying attention. It's like they're a relationship, they're boyfriend, girlfriend. And, and Kelly Black mentions, and her Twitter handle is Time Will Reveal. She's making fun of it. I think Jack is still in denial about her breakup with Teresa. I mean, and she still has feelings for Teresa. I mean, in a nutshell, it kind of does seem like that. Like they broke up, and and I'm sure she's genuinely hurt. They were really good friends.
Yeah.
But
now it's like the mourning period or something. I guess.
And it's just kind of like, okay, if you're done, you're done. And I do want to mention a feedback from YouTube. This is from Jay Pfeiffer, and this has to do with what we're talking about right now. I'm just going to go into this feedback. Yeah. If Jacqueline was a loyal friend, she would have showed Teresa the text messages first instead of everybody else. I don't think Teresa blames Jacqueline for her family not speaking. I think she blames her for adding fuel to the fire that night and basically saying Teresa set the whole thing up. So she thinks, this is what Jay Pfeiffer is saying, that she can see where Teresa's coming from with that comment, because everybody was at fault that night. Everybody, including Teresa. And I agree with her.
Yeah, this is that big night from last season.
Exactly. And this is the blow up between Jacqueline and Teresa. That's why, I'm just trying to talk about this comment right now, because Teresa felt that Jacqueline was being disloyal because, and we've mentioned many times before, Teresa has a difficult time articulating her words, and I think that's what she wanted, was Jacqueline to be loyal in the sense of like, show me the text instead of kind of showing everybody else first.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, if she was supposed to be her best friend in that moment, they were on semi good terms, so to say. Yeah, why pass it around and tell everyone else and not share that with your friend?
Right.
She's essentially throwing her under the bus.
Right.
So that's I'm glad that person made that comment and kind of brought that to light, or at least kind of refreshing our memories of how all this started.
Right. Well, that's how they broke up.
Right. Exactly how they broke up. Moving on. So it's funny how history repeats itself, and I say that because we see this moment with Kathy and her mom and Rosie. They're all having lunch, dinner, whatever it was. It looked damn good. I know you were hungry.
I was like, oh my, can I come over? My goodness.
It looked really good. But it's interesting how history repeats itself, because Teresa's dad is in the hospital, and Kathy, they were all talking about him being in the hospital. Well, Kathy's mom is Teresa's father's brother, and they have beef. They haven't spoken. I think she mentioned, like, they haven't spoken in about 3 years. So it's like, shocker, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You've got the elders who are fighting. So what kind of example have they set now for their kids who are in the same situation? Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, you learn from your parents. I mean, you gotta... It's sad because it's like he's on his deathbed, or he was a few times, and they still haven't made up. And the whole drama right now, because I forgot about that. To be honest.
I did
that
too
was
until it came up.
The back burner, and there's still brothers and sisters. It's not just Joe and Teresa that needs to make up. It's Kathy's mom and their dad.
Right.
It's just a sad life going down like that. And, obviously Teresa and Joe picked it up, Kathy picked it up, and now the next generation, Teresa's kids and Joe's kids, like, that's what they're going to grow up saying, like, it's okay. Well, my mom and my uncle, they didn't talk for years, so it's like, to their cousins, it's like or to their siblings, it's just not right. And Teresa's mom made a really good point. Like, never, ever, ever bring the kids involved. Well, it's a little too late for that, you know? And it's not just Teresa and Joe Giudice. It's also Melissa and Joe, who speak very freely in front of Antonia, and Antonia is kind of just looking at them like...
I noticed that too, and I feel like they've always tried to be like, well, we don't talk about you guys in front of our kids, and we don't do it in front of the kids, but like,
no,
right
both
there,
these
we saw it.
talk mad shit about each other, and that's just how it is, and it's not just Teresa, it's not just Melissa, it's both parties. And you know, you might think, well, my daughter's only 7 or whatever, however old she is. It's like, they know.
Yeah.
They know. How could you dismiss that or underestimate your child just because she doesn't gossip with you or you know, I mean,
those kids are way too young to know so much about all this drama and conflict. They're too young. And unfortunately, I think we're starting to see, well, I know you've never been a fan of Melissa, but I think her true colors are starting to come out a lot more. And we're starting to see where, yeah, she is talking smack about, you know, Teresa and Joe in front of her kids, you know? And it's all gonna, like, you know, spiral over.
And it's not just me. I mean, you know, we've had mixed feelings about Caroline and getting involved in the whole Teresa Joe drama, but I mean, Caroline puts Melissa on check, and she goes, "No." I was like, we had to rewind that because I'm like, did I hear this straight? Because I mean, Caroline puts it down on her, and Melissa was kind of like, well. I mean, I thought this was like a bitch fest, and we were all commiserating together. And Caroline put the smackdown.
That's like, what she's used to, you know? And I think at first I'm like, okay, Caroline, she's in the biz quick again. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now I'm kind of feeling like maybe it's good because maybe she's able, well, no, not even maybe. She is able to be just kind of neutral in a sense. And she's able to like stand back and, you know, listen to both sides.
But that's what she should have done from the get-go.
True. Yeah, she should have done it from the beginning, but like, all right, now it's starting now, you know, and at first I'm like, okay, really, like, stay out of their business, but maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they do need someone. Oh, you know what? Because the girls genuinely do look up to Caroline. And I kind of feel like, well, until Caroline tells you what you don't want to hear. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like, you don't know shit. But
that's in any situation.
Well, that's it. Well, not really. If you're a mature woman, you got to take the good with the bad, you know?
True.
And Melissa's like, well, so Melissa's insinuating that Teresa set her up with Kim D, you know, confronting her. I don't even know. I mean, but that's Kim D. She's just a crazy, you know, like, she took it upon herself to be like, listen, so did you visit whatever with her annoying ass voice? Like, did you go visit your father?
Did you get your father-in-law? Like, bitch, like, that's none of your business.
None of your business.
I didn't get that at all. Like, that's none of her business to be inquiring that.
And you know what? But it does look like the perfect setup. It does look like Teresa was like, hey, Kim, or, you know, like, go talk to her, like, go, or whatever. But Teresa didn't even know what the hell Kim D was doing. You know what I mean? So now it's like Melissa's like, yeah, you know, they planned this attack on me, but that was all Kim D by herself, you know? So.
Well, the whole thing with the gym too, let's talk about that. So, okay, so Melissa, that's her gym that she works out at, right?
That's nobody's gym, but the owner's gym. But yes, Melissa and Teresa both work out
That's the gym that they frequent to work out at. So how was it set up? So Kathy was working out with Melissa. Jacqueline was supposed to join them. And now
we're just going back to last week, by the way.
Oh, at the gym?
Yeah, that was last week.
But they talked about it here too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But I'm just saying that. Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I know that. No, but I'm just saying it's ridiculous how Teresa thinks that, well, not even Teresa. I almost feel like it's Kim D that was putting her head, that they were there to stalk her or whatever.
It was Linda. Linda called. Linda, right?
Yeah, Linda, Teresa's friend. Yeah.
Is it Linda or Jennifer? Linda.
Linda. It was Linda.
Calls Teresa while she's having lunch with Kim D. It's like, guess who's here? I mean, okay, you know, that's, well, for Jacqueline, it's a 45-minute drive. So Teresa's like, why are you at my gym? For real. But I mean, for real, she didn't even come to work out. She came at the very end.
She was supposed to work out. Yeah, but she even said it. She got like agita or something. I don't know.
Well, then if you're not going to come, I'm not going to make the 45-minute drive. If I'm not going to make it to the workout, I'll be like, I'll see you girls later. Bye. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go to the gym and be like, I'm not working out.
Right.
Why would you drive 45 minutes all paranoid, driving somewhere you don't even know where you're going? Because that was her excuse. Like,
no, that's true.
I have a phobia of driving somewhere that I'm not that I'm not familiar with, then I would have just been like, text message, guess what? I'm not going to work out anyways, so I'll see you guys at the bar wherever they meet.
I don't know. There's a part of me, and I know that was from last week, but now, like, fast forwarding to this episode and seeing how, okay, so Jacqueline has her personal trainer come to her home, and the trainer's just like rolling her eyes, like, when are we going to get started? Because all she's talking about is the situation. So a small part of me did think, okay, maybe she did go there, hoping to bump into her from last week.
Well, I don't think that Jacqueline's over their breakup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, she just kept going on and on. She goes, I mean, I don't know. I get it. Sometimes you don't want to work out, but it's like, okay, but your trainer's there. And she's like, well, do some triceps while you're talking shit. And she's like,
do something.
Do something,
Right. Instead of exercising your mouth.
Exactly.
Can we just talk about Kim D real quick?
Go ahead.
Why is she even here? Like, okay, so Teresa must have other friends. So now it's Kim D and it's that Linda chick, like I don't like seeing so much of her. Like, and I feel like in the future for this season, we're going to be seeing a lot more of her.
Well, I'll make sure to contact Bravo and be like, you guys need to like axe
I'm just
that bitch.
like, why?
Why?
Like,
Because that's what Kim D does. That's what she does best. She went and made it her business to pull Melissa aside and be like, did you or did you not go visit your father-in-law? That's
what fucking business.
But that's why she's there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
drama.
it would have been like, yay, merry party. And that's not what we want. We want to see the drama.
This is true.
And that's why Kim D is there.
All right.
To answer your question, by the way.
Thank you. Well, let's switch gears on a happier note with the Manzo boys. So it looks like they have another new business venture, a restaurant. And the minute that popped up, my first thought was, what happened to Blackwater? Like, did that fail?
Did you ever try to purchase?
No.
Okay, that's what happened.
But Caroline said that essentially it's not, bringing in enough revenue for them to, live off of, nicely. So they got a new business venture. But I don't know. I like the boys, and I don't think we're seeing as much of them just because there's so much other drama, in the show as we once did in the past. But good for them.
Good for them.
Good for the boys. Okay, moving on. Can we talk about the marriage Bible?
Yes, please. That was next on my list.
Okay. My first question is Melissa even the right person to be writing an advice book about, how to keep a great marriage? Do you think she's the right person for that?
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's just a little, what's the word I want to use?
Just like, I think she could write maybe a book about how to keep it young and sexy, still married, but not like a marriage advice Bible, however she wants to describe it. It's like, I mean, it's one thing if you've been married for like 30 years and you're like, still like, you really know the secrets to a true happy marriage. But it's like, you write this book and you get divorced next year. It's like,
I know.
Joke's on you.
Last season, you were basically, fighting stripper rumors between you and your husband. So now you're writing a marriage Bible book. I had a big problem just with how she described it and what it's called and the fact that she's, doling out advice. I don't think she's the right person for that.
No, I agree. And she doesn't know if she wants to talk about, her father's relationship and, what but I mean, you just kind of.
Well, first of all, you just revealed it.
Exactly.
But B, I think if you don't reveal those things, I think people are going to call your bullshit.
Exactly.
People like when you're honest and you're raw
and somewhat self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And she is none of that.
Yeah, and it's going to help people connect more to her story, her book. But to say, I don't know if I want people to know about, my father and my childhood and the fact that my dad cheated.
Give me any advice?
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt, And I almost felt like the meeting that she was having, like with all the book publishers and stuff like that, I felt like they were all sitting there like, okay.
Anyways, next. Where's our 2 o'clock here? You know what I mean?
I really felt that way. I just kind of felt like they were like, all right, where's, when are you coming? When are you showing up? We don't have anything,
It's like, Yeah, it's kind of like so we have like a decent marriage. We've only been married for X amount of years. But my dad like used to like step out on my mom. It's like okay, maybe this is not the book for you kind of thing, you know?
I agree. I think she needs to rethink the title, and the whole concept of it, because I don't know who's seeking out advice from Melissa Gorga.
I don't know. But let's jump to nail time with Mama Judice and Teresa.
Yes.
I love that they're spending time together, you know, especially I'm sure Mama's like stressed out with her husband and I was going to say her husband in jail. So, excuse me.
That would be her son.
Her son in the hospital.
Yeah.
But
did you like what Philomena had to say about Melissa?
I mean,
I wrote it down. She says,
okay, listen, she didn't say anything personal. She just was strictly talking about what she sees image-wise. That's what she rolls in. That's what she wears.
Yeah.
How could Melissa or Joe blame Teresa for putting that into her mom's ear? Mom ain't blind. She knows what daughter-in-law rolls in the house with. It's like...
I mean, this is true, but on the flip side, if Teresa had a better relationship with her sister-in-law, if she liked her, if they liked each other, if they spoke positively about her, I'm willing to bet you that, Philomena, her mother-in-law, would probably think a little bit higher of her too. I'm just saying.
So it's Teresa's responsibility to...
No, I'm not saying it's her responsibility. I'm just saying if they had a better relationship with each other, I think, she probably might have a different opinion of her.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that to some degree, to some extent. But I think that to each their own. Like, you're a grown-ass woman. You're responsible. It's your responsibility to have a relationship and have a certain image to your mother-in-law.
Right.
I mean...
I get it.
I could get away with certain things in front of my mom because that's my mom.
Right.
And but in front of my mother-in-law, I wouldn't be rolling in like just some stuff that I would wear in front of my mom. And that's just out of respect.
Right. I get that.
So
I get that.
I mean, she's like, you could cover it up a little bit and like the short little,
Right.
I mean.
Well, I think the fact that this is, these are Joe Judice's parents, and there's this conflict.
No, babe, this is Teresa's parents.
No, Philomena. She was with her mother-in-law at the nail salon.
That's that's Teresa's mom.
No, it was Joe's mom. It was her mother-in-law.
Oh, it was Joe Judice's mom?
Yeah, Joe Judice's mom. Yeah, that's her mother-in-law.
Oh, that's her mother-in-law.
That's her mother-in-law.
Oh,
right.
okay,
What were you thinking?
I thought that was Teresa's mom.
No.
Okay.
That was Joe's mom. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that's right. Just delete everything I just said. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, no, that's Joe's mom. But I mean, still, they're all a family unit. But I think how Teresa feels is, I don't know. It influences a lot. And I'm not saying she's responsible, but, it's a big influence. What do we have next on our list?
Richie and Vicky's pate.
Well, let's back up from the party.
Okay.
How Rosie and Joseph. Now, first of all, who knew Richie had a Ferrari? Like, I was like, whoa.
What the hell are you talking about?
What?
You never knew that Richie had a Ferrari?
I don't think I did.
Okay, you've been sleeping on this show. Like, are you kidding me? You never knew that he had a red Ferrari?
No.
Like the Magnum PI Ferrari?
I never knew that.
Okay, bye. I don't think you should be recapping the show. Oh, okay. Anyways.
I didn't.
Well, okay, now you do.
Yeah, I really didn't. Like, when did we see that car?
Like every episode.
Really? Maybe I just.
I think when they were at the Jersey Shore, he rolled up in that too.
Well, I can't remember that,
Girl, no.
I didn't know he had a red Ferrari.
Okay, you're embarrassing yourself.
Well, look, you just didn't know about the mother-in-law, so we're even. Anyway,
we're even.
Let's move on. Anyway, I thought it was really funny how it was Rosie, Aunt Rosie takes him out, to drive. And
I know you're talking about last week's episode?
Oh, God.
Okay. Let's, iTunes. Let's talk about iTunes real quick. Let's talk about iTunes.
Because I wasn't here and I watched it today.
Clearly.
Go on, talk about iTunes.
Go on. Please rate us and comment on iTunes. Are we doing anything? Cereal Buddies, nothing?
No.
No, okay. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about the party. The dual party bus party with Victoria and Richie. Their party. Well, first of all, let's just talk about their marriage. Okay,
let's talk about
because it seems like, and even it came up in News and Gossip, I don't know, a few episodes back, how like she was shutting down rumors that they were going to get a divorce and things were, I don't know, I think we're starting to see more and more.
Oh, for sure. She's super snappy with him.
Yeah.
You know, we see preview of next week's episode, and she's like, you know, I really need you to like respect what I say and really like take me seriously.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's all fun and games until your wife leaves your ass. It's like, you know, like let's reference back to last week's episode when Joey took out the red Ferrari. Like he was like huffing and puffing, and then soon as little Joey comes up, he's like, "Oh, did you like the car?" And then Kathy's
I know. It's
okay,
like
now
good cop, bad cop. Yeah.
And that's not right. And I think it happens on several occasions, and that gets old. It's like, why do I always have to be the bad parent? You know, it's just like once in a while, you want to be the good cop. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't like seeing it play out like that.
Yeah.
Just in every episode. I feel like every single episode we get a little bit more, you know, of their marriage unraveling.
And it's just a little too obnoxious, you know. I think Richie just needs to step back a little bit. I love how all the uncles, you want to call, like, pimps out this girl for little Joe. So he's like, dude, I'm 16. And, like, girls like, I'm, like, 30.
I know.
That's
like, first of all,
rape.
she clearly looked like she was too old for him.
She was beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous girl. But, yeah.
And maybe, like, you know, 10 years down the line. But homeboy is 16 years old. Like, how are you going to, like, pimp him out to her?
And I think it's time that they find Rosie a girlfriend.
Well, Rosie found herself a girlfriend to kiss, and a man, and a boy.
Well, they were married.
Yeah. So she was like, well, okay, Rosie, you know, I love Rosie and I'm a huge fan, but she needs to calm down. Like, she needs to really calm down. Like, she was going out of control. Victoria was like, oh my God. Can we not like talk about this here? Can we just like take it down a notch? Because Rosie was going out of control.
It was wrong place, wrong time. And I'm glad that it took Victoria, a 19-year-old, to say, listen, this is my birthday party. Can we not talk about this and these people here? Yeah. You know, but I agree. It's like everybody gets so like emotional and riled up, you know, on all sides. And it's just.
Well, and I just love how the women are like, you know, Teresa, that bitch, she's not even here and she's causing all this drama. That's because these ladies allow it. And that's because these ladies welcome the drama. Teresa's not. You think Teresa's at home, you know, gossiping about like, oh my God, I hate these bitches. She does not. Listen, when you talk negative about somebody else, you're just killing yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really just like. It really doesn't. I mean, clearly we don't like each other, but the more you talk about me, it's only hurting yourself.
It's just projecting. That's what I like to call it.
Projecting. That's a great way to put it. And I just feel like, you know, they allow it. They allow the drama. So it's like, boo-hoo.
Okay, finally, I think it's time, not unless you want to bring up anything else, to talk about the showdown at the gym. Okay, I have a lot of opinions about this. First of all, we hear Joe basically, I don't want to say berate, but is telling Teresa, you know what, your husband is no good. You know, he talks crap about you. He calls you the C word. What really bothered me the most that I couldn't believe was that Teresa was justifying it. Well, he didn't say it to my face. He said it on the phone. I was just like, wow, like, where is her head? Like, what's going on?
I don't think that she's trying to justify it. I think that she was beyond humiliated. Yeah. And it is what it is. I mean, was that the deal breaker? Obviously not. He's an ass. He's an ass. I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, would it have been different if he called her or see you next Tuesday to her face? Maybe, maybe not. But that's the only angle that she can defend right now. You know what I mean? It was said on national TV. There was so much press about what he said and how he said it. And I mean, at this point, she's still with this man.
Whose side were you on during this whole confrontation between Teresa and her brother?
Honestly, I was kind of on Teresa's side.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with her little brother saying that you should have never married him. He's an asshole. But you know
too
what?
Late for that.
Four beautiful girls later, she's kind of stuck with him. Whether they divorce or not, they're together for the rest of their lives because of these girls. And, you know, and Teresa's feud with Melissa is the same shit between Joe Giudice and Joe Gorga. It's the same
true.
thing. They both don't like each other as partners, you know? And I think that like Teresa genuinely went over there like, okay, let me like break the ice. Let me say what's up. And there were times I did agree with Joey, but there were times that he was acting like a little bitch, you know, or he could have just been like, all right, he could have diffused it, but and he says, he's like, I'm going to go tit for tat. It's like, okay.
Because she was going tit for tat. She always does that.
Yeah, but you know what? You are clearly saying that your sister is mental and she's insane, but you are adding to that insanity. If you're the sane one, then just be like, okay, you know?
I don't know.
Why would you fight insanity with insanity? Wouldn't you just kind of want to diffuse the situation?
That makes sense, but I have to say, in this little argument that they had at the gym, I was on his side because I agreed with him. Now, I agree that he says, okay, you should have never married him. Well, we can't take that back. Just like you said, they've got 4 kids, 10 years later, you can't take that back. But at the end of the day, I think what he was pointing out is that a lot of their issues between Teresa and her brother stem from, what's going on. No, I was going to say stem from what's going on in Teresa's marriage at home because of the type of man that she married.
Yeah.
That's what I think he was coming from, and I agreed with him. Now, the second point where he was talking about, the kids and, talking in front of the kids and this and that, like, I do feel like Teresa was being a hypocrite because it was like, well, what's good for me isn't good for you, and back and forth. So I just felt like, I don't know, it's just so easy for this beef they have between each other for it to just keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
I agree. I think that Teresa is in this situation. She married a man that clearly is very open to speaking his mind in front of his young girls, and they pick up on it. Like, Melissa's a stripper, Melissa's lip syncs, and that's not right.
It's not right at all.
But you know what, Teresa, listen. Teresa wasn't able to walk away from that marriage after her husband called her
I see you next Tuesday on national
television. How is she going to try to regulate him just talking shit about the sister-in-law? Do you know what I mean? Well, as strong as a personality as Teresa has, this man has a hold on her, and she clearly can't really say much to him, And let me ask you this. And it frustrates her brother because it's like her sister is stuck with this ass crack, and it is what it is. But let me ask you something. Do you think that Joey Gorga is pussy whipped? Because they were talking about that.
A little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit, yeah.
And I love the fact that he defends his wife.
Yeah, because that's what a husband should do.
Yeah, to a degree. But not against your own sister. To a degree. I think that, yes, he should defend his wife, but I think when it's your blood sister, there should be some sort of like rationality is all I'm saying.
Okay, I get that there should be some type of rationality, but once you marry somebody, like, you've got each other's back. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
but even Caroline mentions, like, you run off to your husband and then you tell him about Teresa. Like, you are yourself adding fuel to the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I see it as his loyalty is to his wife first and foremost.
And it should. But you know what? Melissa could also grow up and not be such an instigator herself.
I agree.
Because there are certain things, they're best friends and they can tell each other everything. But if you truly want things to be like better between your husband and his sister and for the sake of the kids, there's some certain things that you can filter out. Don't you agree?
I do. I
don't
agree.
think that Melissa does any of that.
I think Melissa, it's starting to unravel too that she's liar, like, and we've started talking about that, about how her true colors are starting to be revealed. But I think, I don't know if Melissa in her mind, she's thinking like that she's not, going back and forth and doing all this bad shit. But I think we're starting to see too, her truths are being revealed, basically.
For sure. Sure.
But I don't know. I was on Gorga's side.
What are you doing?
I was putting my hair up. It was just driving me crazy.
Goodness. We're doing a show.
All right, moving on. Did you have any more opinions on that?
No. I mean, I want to address some comments. And then just to clarify from last week, Harry Grill, thanks to Grant Thomas. Do you know what Harry Grill means?
Well, first of all, I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but grill has always referred to a person's mouth, like their teeth. So when I heard hairy grill, I was like,
You were like Joe Giudice. You have hairy teeth?
yeah, well, no, I didn't. I assumed she didn't mean hairy teeth, but I'm like, I'm like, okay, is this some newfound slang that I don't know about?
Remember talking about this is Melania saying it to Gia.
Yes, I know.
Well,
where are they getting that from? That's the first thing.
Well, Grant Thomas clarified. Hairy grill means hairy vagina.
Yeah, that's exactly what I assumed when they were having this conversation. But like, didn't you grill, in your opinion, is your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. That's slang for mouth.
Right, like
grill,
bling grill. But
right.
when someone says hairy, my mind automatically went to the vagina.
My mind did too. You know what I mean? I was just like, who's calling it a grill these days?
Or I was like, does she have like a hairy mustache? I don't know. Like it was either a hairy mustache on your face lips or your
other lips.
Sorry, I had to go there.
But I mean, I guess we're dealing with a whole new generation.
Apparently.
New slang, new ways to call things. But come on, kids. Like, hairy grill, let's leave the grill to the mouth.
Yes.
All right, you got some more stuff?
Yeah. So are we going to do some iTunes feedback?
Yeah.
You want to go there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get started.
This is to Conig, Conig, wants us to please do an OC housewife recap. So we will definitely bring it up to the
powers that be.
Exactly.
Okay.
There was one about, this one was very sad clean lady. It was addressed to us about this is what it says. I guess if I need an example of what kind of girls I don't want my daughter to act like, I can just play this. Geez, you're the kind of women that give girls an eating disorder. Just gross. And I think that this was about Lauren Manzo's weight loss surgery. And then we talked about how she kind of gained it back. What's your take on this? I mean, we were in no way, and I'm going to speak for both of us, knocking her weight gain at all. I mean, the only thing that we I think, our opinions were about how she lost the weight,
Absolutely.
She's young. She's so capable of being able to, diet, exercise, do it, and so what our opinions were that she did surgery for it.
Well, it makes me sad that this person has made a comment, and I kind of feel like it makes me wonder, have they been following us regularly? Did they listen to us last season when we, talked a lot more in depth about Lauren and her weight and the things that we had to say about it? Because by no means are we, I don't know. I hate hearing that she thinks that we're bad people because, we're advocating that somebody goes and sticks their finger down their throat, because that's not what we're saying at all. I think where we were coming from was, based on how she lost her weight last season, we didn't agree with that. We thought that it was somewhat of a cop-out, for her to do that. And we had really strong opinions. But at no time did we ever, cross that line because, we're women, I think my weight has flip-flopped. I lost 40 pounds 2 years ago. So I think for this woman to make such a harsh statement without really maybe knowing all the context, because this is something that we talked about last season, I don't know. That's kind of disappointing too. I hope this person is listening now, and maybe we've changed her mind, but that's not.
In no way, shape, or form were we trying to.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not what we were trying to get across, and I'm disappointed that that's kind of what she heard, from her filter, but that's absolutely not what we were trying to get across at all. So,
okay. And my next comment was from Robbie BMOC. She clarified, because I know Erica, when we did our first episode, was like, when was the filming for season 4? When does season 3? And so I just really want to say thank you, because she cleared it up. And yeah, sometimes we don't have all the facts straight, especially when it came to Jennifer Dalton, which was Joe and Melissa's realtor. Right. And we got the name wrong. We said Jackie, or I think I said Jackie. So that was inaccurate. But she clarified. Okay, season 3 ended filming the spring of 2011. and aired the summer of 2011. So season 3 ended filming spring of 2011 and then aired summer of 2011. They started filming season 4 right away, spring, summer of 2011, and finished filming in October 2011. So 2011 was a big year. When they filmed the reunion for season 3, so they just finished filming in 2011, and that was when they filmed the reunion for season 3.
Okay.
Season 4 didn't air until summer 2012.
Right.
And the reunion filming was September 2012. So it was kind of like
back
to back. So they really didn't have a lot of break time in between. Then they started filming season 5, November 2012, up until early spring 2013. And that is what we're watching now.
Right,
That's
the
what's
current
airing
season.
now. Yeah. Okay. So that's it.
Any other comments, feedback?
No, that was it.
Okay, well, just like we say, you guys, we, encourage comments because we actually read them, and, we always say it, good, bad, or indifferent. We really like to hear what you have to say, and we like to address it, whether it's good or bad or negative. And I think we all have to keep in mind too, we're all passionate super fans of this show. We love the show. Like, that's the one common bond that connects us all. But, we all have to keep in mind too that we are all entitled to an opinion. You, me, and the viewer. So
Yes.
I think we all need to.
Or the listeners.
The viewer, listener, I kind of meant that in one. But yes, everybody is entitled to an opinion. So I think we need to keep that in mind, y'all. Did we cover everything? I feel like we did.
I feel like we did.
Even stuff from last season. Yeah. Sorry.
Last season, last
show.
episode.
Sorry, last episode. Well, last season, yeah. All right, I think we're ready for. I have a little news and gossip, not a lot.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I love that. Okay, so I think I found this on thehollywoodgossip.com. Love that site. They always have lots of juicy gossip about reality shows. No surprise here. Joe Gorga, he was in an interview, and he said basically the same sentiments that we kind of heard on this current episode, that he thinks that Teresa should never have married Joe Giudice. And then he gets a lot more detailed about, their beef. And as I said earlier, he thinks that, part of their beef stems from her relationship with him. And, he wishes that he was gone or wasn't a factor in his sister's life anymore. So
Fair enough.
Fair enough. But I think it's interesting when we hear that stuff, on the show. And then funny enough, where I found this, it was actually just posted. It was like recent gossip. So, because this is done filming. So, you know what I mean? So,
do you know what else he posted? A Twitter picture of himself. He shaved his head. He looks good.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Hey.
I wish the internet was down.
Yeah,
But yeah, I wish we would have had that. But yeah, that was cute. So I just think it's interesting, that we're not watching these episodes in real time, and to hear that, he still feels the same way, still has the same opinion about his sister is interesting. Did you have any?
No, you know what? I think on episode 1, we were talking about Caroline and Albie's.
What, their place in Hoboken?
No, remember there were kind of rumors about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
About Albert cheating, because I had read something while we were on hiatus. And so basically what it was it was in my Us magazine. Because Caroline had written a book, and she's been with Albert for 32 years. And the book, let me tell you something, she wrote about possible infidelities that he had done a long time ago. I think 25 years ago, he might have had a one-night stand. She's basically saying that she ultimately doesn't fault him for it. And, she's like, Albert and I have been through hell together, and she's not even worried about it.
Well, good for her.
Good for her. That is one strong woman.
Well, and that's marriage. Marriage is tough, They raise 3 beautiful children, They run a successful business, It's not going to come without some stress and some strife. And I think at the end of the day, what matters is that they're still together. They're a strong family unit, strong couple, and they got through it.
Yeah, I agree.
So hats off to them. Let's do some predictions.
Predictions.
And now,
Your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions. Ooh, that was kind of
weird. That was horsey in there.
Oh, all right. So we see for scenes from the next, Rosie and Teresa have a showdown. Like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be the Real Housewives of New Jersey without the drama, but it's like every week. It's like this week it was, the Joe and Teresa, and next week it's, Rosie and everybody's having a showdown. These like meetings with each other. And we all know Rosie has an issue with her temper. So who do you think is going to win in the next week's showdown?
Rosie. Oh, you know what? We skipped over the apology where Caroline was like, oh, and by the way, where Teresa stands with you, she clearly did not accept the apology that you gave her at the reunion.
I'm glad you brought that up.
At the reunion show, yeah.
What do you think about that? Because I kind of agreed with Kathy. Now, I know the apology was on national television, so it was kind of under duress. But I agree with her, that was Teresa's moment to say, you know what, no, I don't accept your apology.
I don't think that she doesn't accept it. I think you forgive, but you don't forget. And I think and then her
Is that really forgiveness?
No, I guess not. But I guess when her father went back into the hospital, she's like, you know what, F you. I'm mad at you again. Because you just, I don't know. Who knows what this woman
Well,
Teresa.
I also think, just like we were saying at the beginning of the recap, that history repeats itself. Yeah. And the fact that the parents are still in a beef, it's just only trickling down to the kids. Yeah. And it's just not right. I feel like at the end of the day, the parents need to mend their relationship. And once the kids see that, maybe things will just, go back to smooth sailing. I don't know.
Hopefully.
But maybe we'll see in episodes to come. All right, I think we're done.
We're done. Well, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Soundchecking at It's Susan Hahn.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GoToGirlTV. Thanks for listening, you guys. And you can catch us next Sunday for an all-new recap of your favorite Garden State Housewives.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.